Welcome everyone to Soul Show. My name is Soul, and today I want to talk to you about the latest film I saw, and that is the unbearable weight of massive talent. And who is more talented than the man, the myth, the legend, the meme himself, Nicolas Cage, playing Nicolas Cage. And you go into the trailer and you're thinking, okay, Nicolas Cage is playing himself and he's working with like the CIA doing spy stuff to fight a drug cartel member who's like really into him as an actor. Yeah, doesn't make much sense. And when you watch the film, the plot seems to do whatever the hell it wants and not give a shit, and I love films like that. One of the main objectives of this film is to celebrate the life, the career that is Nicolas Cage. And I'm not gonna lie, I like my Nic Cage memes. I remember one time being asked a question, do you want this cake? And ever since then, I have never looked the man in the eye the same way. And I remember watching an interview with Nicolas Cage, and he was talking about, like, how is he supposed to escape that image of himself that he didn't even conjure? Someone one day decided he would be a meme, and forevermore he was known as Nicolas Cage, the God. And that is because of the films he makes, the type of actor he is. He's a little bit weird and quirky, and he puts that into his films, and they make for good meme content. But not only is there about 100 references to Nicolas Cage's career, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the most well-versed in Nicolas Cage films. I know my fair share. Those got referenced. I was happy. But the majority of the references in this movie just flew over my head. But it's not the kind of film that relies only on that. It's not like a Marvel film where you're like, oh my god, I didn't see the 30 movies prior. What am I going to do? It's more about celebrating this person and using his older films to set up jokes. And those jokes aren't reliant on the reference. It's not just a member berry field and you're just placking your member berries into your mouth. That's a term I use, yes. It's more about using the prior movies as a form of groundwork, but it's not necessary. But not only that, Nicolas Cage actually monologues to himself, but it's a younger version of himself. This is probably one of the few times I've seen de-aging, deep fake, type of creations, and it's actually used for good. It's like, oh, it's for a joke. Jokes are good. It's not used to like squeeze nostalgia out of me. It's actually just used to set up a joke. Okay, I'm on board for this. And that purpose of the film really is to like let us, see inside his brain a little bit. But it's also to like give the meme lord some content. It's literally all the Nicolas Cage performances where he's just going wild. This is supposed to be that incarnate. So if you're into those movies for that specific performance, you're going to see that represented here, at least a little bit. And as far as himself, like he basically isn't getting the big roles he wants anymore, even though he's like really passionate about it, he's really trying his hardest. And it kind of shows like, hey, no matter how rich and famous or whatever you are, you're always going to try to aspire to do more. You're always going to try to get over that next hurdle, and sometimes you can't do it, and that sucks, and that's enough emotional weight to like get a character going for a film. He even has like a family. He's very much neglecting his family, and he's burning through his money, and he has 1,000 problems, and you're like, oh shit, like I never would have thought any of this about you, Nic Cage, that you got all this going on. Suddenly I'm invested in the family dynamic of Nicolas Cage, and that's only the setup. The real plot to this movie is when he is invited to a birthday celebration of Pedro Pascal's character, and yes, he is somewhat involved with the cartel, and then they grab Nicolas Cage, who is invited to this guy's party, and they're like, oh, you're gonna do some spy stuff for us. And Nicolas Cage, like, the whole joke is that he can't perform these things that they're asking him to do, and he just falls on his ass, and it's a big joke. And I'm not gonna lie, like, the spy stuff was probably the least interesting part of the whole film. And this is gonna be a spoiler, so just skip ahead like about a minute if you want to avoid spoilers. But they kill off these characters and does not linger on them, and it kind of just feels like, oh, we set up these like secret agent characters just to like move the plot along, and you don't really feel anything. Like, it doesn't even reflect back on these characters. It cares so little about them. What you actually care about is the bromance between Nick and Pedro. These characters are having so much fun. I'm sure the actors are too. And at that point, I was remembering, oh yeah, this is like a comedy. And I laughed. I had such genuine laughter that I've not felt in a movie theater all that much in the past couple years. It's good to know, like, oh yeah, comedies, laughing with people, and yeah, this is what it's all about. I missed it. And again, this is credit to these actors that they're actually incredibly funny. And what I love most about these guys is just how geeky they are about films. Because usually the way the arc goes in these films is Nicolas Cage's character has lost the passion for movies, but by the end he rediscovers it because he was given affirmation due to Pedro or something like that. No, they were just like immediately, Nicolas Cage loves movies. He's super passionate about movies. People are telling him to stop making so many movies, but he's like, this is my job. This is what I love doing. And that's what divides him and his family and leaves this big wall in between them, is that he's so obsessed with himself. It's ultimately his work, so it's just himself. I think I feel like similar things with me and YouTube is like I've become so focused and so obsessed with all of this that like I have to like take myself back to remind myself, oh yeah, nobody fucking cares. And as important as Nic Cage is, not a lot of people care except for fucking Pedro Pascal. But it's not the fact that he's so obsessed with Nic Cage that it's parasocial, which that is in there and that's funny. But they're good friends with each other because they both love movies and are passionate about it. And they have all these references and they go on tangents that you would talk to your buddies about. That's what this film is. That is the best part. And you fucking love these two by the end of it because, again, they're incredibly funny. And yes, you are somewhat worried that Pedro Pascal's character is going to turn heel. He's a member of the drug cartel after all. I don't think there's going to be many audience members who really buy into that part of the story because you take one look at this guy and you love him. There's no way in hell that they were going to have this guy be the main antagonist for the film. It's not genuine. And again, there are moments of this film that I would completely disregard because they're just setting up future moments and those moments don't hold up either. Again, it's just about these cool dudes being fun and going on LSD trips together, and it's awesome. And by the third act, they are hinging on that. Like, you want both of these guys to succeed. If one of them has to stand their ground and stay back and die, it's like, no, I need you guys together. You care less about Nicolas Cage and his family than you do these guys. Anyway, though, the film itself entirely works wonderfully. Again, you don't have to be like a Nicolas Cage trivia expert. You don't even have to know any of the films. But again, it's that little icing on the cake if you do. But what's most important is it's funny, zany, wacky, and one of the best Nicolas Cage films I've seen. Again, I need to get caught up. I haven't even seen Face Off. What the fuck's wrong with me? Anyway, I'm going to give The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent an 8 out of 10. These are one of those films that you would never expect to see. Like, never when, like, making my ideas for film would I have something like this. This is a specific film that comes every once in a while, and it's awesome. Thank you, and if you have not subscribed, be sure to do so. I have a lot of other movie reviews on this channel. Check that out. I have a whole playlist full of them. And until next time, with that, I leave you.